Watching the condensation start to gather and beat, liquid translation of a localized need. The glass is a barrier, cold and profound, between the stay in the kitchen and the gone on the ground. I'm tracing the line through the fog and the gray, watching the vibrancy slowly wash away. It isn't the rain from the charcoal sky, but the structural leakage of a long distance sigh. And there are tears on the windowsill tonight, catching the glare of the pale street light. A saltwater boundary, a shivering stain, the physical proof of a permanent pain. They don't hit the floor and they don't make a sound, just sit on the ledge where they always was found. Yeah, the vacuum is heavy and the spirit is thin, with the tears on the windowsill, letting the winter in. I remember you leaning right there by the pane, finding the rhythm in the summer rain. Now it's just silica dust and the sting of the ghost of a person, a non-existent thing. The wood is beginning to open, to swell in the shivering center of this hollowed out shell. It's a microscopic flood, a tectonic shift, the heaviest part of a beautiful gift. Do I wipe them away? Do I clear off the glass to let the indifference of the minutes pass? But the marks are a map and the moisture is real, the only part left of the way that I feel. And there are tears on the windowsill tonight, catching the glare of the pale street light. A saltwater boundary, a shivering stain, the physical proof of a permanent pain. They don't hit the floor and they don't make a sound, just sit on the ledge where they always was found. Yeah, the vacuum is heavy and the spirit is thin, with the tears on the windowsill, letting the winter in. Pulling up, running down the quietest storm in this hollowed out town. Don't touch the ledge, don't break the seal, just let the cold be all that I feel. On the windowsill, on the windowsill. I used to think that over was a solid shade of black, the heavy set arrival of a door that won't come back. But standing in the hallway, I'm seeing something else, a spectrum of the silence that I'm feeling in myself. It's not a sudden darkness or a cinematic gloom, but a specific kind of bruising in the corners of the room. It's the hue of the horizon when the heat begins to die, the structural transition of a charcoal-colored sky. And it's the color of goodbye tonight, bleeding through the edges of a artificial light. It's a washed out amber in the localized gray, the vibrance of the always as it slowly slips away. It isn't red like anger or blue like the deep, but the pale dusty silver of a Yeah, the saturation's failing, and the signal is high in the shivering center of the color of goodbye. It's the tin of the coffee that's been sitting far too long, the visual recording of a rhythm going wrong. I see it in the shadows where your coat used to hang, a mute button echo of the songs we never sang. It's the structural erosion, the chromatic retreat, the shade of the pavement on a quiet end street. I'm looking for the primary, I'm looking for the bold, but I'm drowning in a story that's getting thin and old. Does it fade into white? Does it vanish in a clear when there's nothing left to haunt and there's nothing left to fear? It's a tectonic shifting of the vision in my head, between the things we promised and the things we actually said. And it's the color of goodbye tonight, bleeding through the edges of a artificial light. It's a washed out amber and the lookalikes gray, the vibrance of the always as it slowly slips away. It isn't red like anger or blue like the deep, but the pale dusty silver of a promise I couldn't keep. Yeah, the saturation's failing, and the signal is high in the shivering center of the color of goodbye. In the light, watch it turn, the final lesson that I had to learn. No more gold, no more green, just the palest version of what might have been goodbye. Goodbye. I'm standing where the ballast meets the weeds and the rust, watching the horizon swallow all of our trust. The tracks are getting narrower, the steel is turning gray in the heavy set silence of a localized day. There's no more expansion, there's no more someday, just the structural markers where the vibrancy lay. I've checked the schedule and I've checked the clock, but the gears have all frozen in a permanent shock. And it's the end of the line tonight, stepping out of the rhythm and into the light. The journey is finished, the signal is dead, leaving nothing but the static of the things we said. No more forever, no us on the track. There's no silver engine to bring the world back. Yeah, the station is empty and the spirit is fine in the cold water winter of the end of the line. Taking my suitcase, the one full of gone, tracing the trajectory from the dusk to the dawn. The conductor is a ghost, the passengers are air, and I'm the only person who's still standing there. It's a tectonic stall in a linguistic void, the quietest wreckage of the things we destroyed. I used to think the always was a long distance run, but I'm looking at the buffer and the story is done. Do I walk down the gravel? Do I head for the street? In the shivering center of a final retreat, the map has been folded, the tickets are torn, and the once upon a time is starting to mourn. And it's the end of the line tonight, stepping out of the rhythm and into the light. The journey is finished, the signal fading into absolute silence. Staring at the corner of sheet number 110, reaching the border of the never again. The margins are crowded with the maps that we drew before the ink started bleeding from the version of you. There's no more room for the maybes or the might have beens, just a structural closing where the silence begins. The spine is exhausted, the cover is frayed under the weight of the promises that we never made. And I'm reading the last page of the story tonight, in the shivering wake of a dying light. The plot has run out and the rhythm is dry, leaving us both with a quiet goodbye. It's not a cliffhanger, it's not a surprise, it's the final reflection in two tired eyes. Yeah, the book is all finished and the spirit is sage on the very last page. On the very last page. I see the fingerprints on the edge of the leaf, the tactile recording of a localized grief. We've used up the adjectives, we've drained all the verbs. In a garden, the statues and a handful of herbs. There's a period at the end of the very last line, marking the moment that you aren't mine. It's a linguistic ending, a structural piece, the final signature on a permanent lease. Do I put it on the shelf? Do I lock it away between the almost and the just for today? It's the library of us that no one will borrow, in the hollowed out museum of a long distance sorrow. And I'm reading the last page of the story tonight, in the shivering wake of a dying light. The plot is run out and the rhythm is dry, leaving us both with a quiet goodbye. It's not a cliffhanger, it's not a surprise, it's the final reflection in two tired eyes. Yeah, the book is all finished and the spirit is sage on the very last page. The end, the end, just the words. The end, nothing more. Slide it in the slide beside the bedroom door. A story told, a story done, the final chapter of the only one. The end. The end. I'm checking the tires and I'm filling the tank, leaving the rooms of the always at the bank. I've got a suitcase of shadows and a map made of glass, watching the milestones of the forever past. The engine is humming a low frequency tune under the pale clinical glare of a paper white moon. I'm hitting 60, 70, 80 on the dial, but the horizon hasn't moved in a country mile. And I'm on a long road to nowhere tonight, chasing the ghosts in my own high beam light. There's no destination, there's no welcome home, just a structural rhythm the shivering center of the middle of the night. Yeah, the asphalt is endless and the signal is fair. On the long road to nowhere that leads me back there. Every billboard I pass has a version of you, in a washed out amber or a localized blue. I try to change the station, I try to find the news, but the radio's playing the never-ending blues. It's a tectonic shifting of the miles and the time, the final recording of a long-distance crime. I'm driving away from the things that I said, but they're riding shotgun in the back of my head. Is there a border? Is there a line where I can finally reclaim this heartbeat of mine? Or am I just circling the places we stayed in a permanent loop of the choices we made? And I'm on the long road to nowhere tonight, chasing the ghosts in my own high beam light. There's no destination, there's no welcome home, just the structural rhythm of the monochrome. It's a localized transit, a linguistic flight through the shivering center of the middle of the night. Yeah, the asphalt is endless and the signal is fair. On the long road to nowhere that leads me back there. Keep driving, where to? Keep driving. I hit white lines like sky. The longest hello, longest hello, in a final goodbye. Nowhere, nowhere, nowhere. I'm still setting the table for two, watching the steam rise, waiting for you. The porch light is flickering, dying away, just like the words that I wanted to say. I found your old sweater tucked under the bed. It smells like the life that we no longer led. Now the silence is heavy, it's ringing so loud, searching for us in a ghost-ridden crowd. And I'm holding my breath till my lungs start to ache, counting the pieces I'm trying to fake. You were the anchor, the north on my map. Now I'm just falling through every new gap. It's a hollow chest, kind of a deep, lonely blue, inside the room that remembers only you. I walk past our cafe and look through the glass, watching the shadows of strangers just pass. I saw a reflection and thought it was us, but it's just the rain and the grime and the dust. How do I unlove the way that you laugh? What's every memory neatly in half? I'm a book with the final 10 pages torn out, lost in the maybe and drowning in doubt. Curtains still sway like you just walked by. The mirror is holding the ghost of your eye. Every corner is crowded, every shadow is deep. The walls keep the secrets they promised to keep. Cause I'm holding my breath till my lungs start to ache, counting the pieces I'm trying to fake. You were the anchor, the north on my map. Now I'm just falling through every new gap. It's a hollow chest, torchlight went out. I'm still here, but the house is too full. Just the room that remembers closing the door. I'm tracing the ridges on the back of my hand, a topographical map of a hollowed out land. The bleeding is finished, the surface is cold, a different kind of story than the one we were told. It isn't a trophy, it isn't a badge, just a structural mark in a localized snag. The skin has grown back, but the texture is new, a permanent record of the version of you. And these are the scars of love tonight, jagged and silver in the flickering light. They don't feel the winter, they don't feel the sting, the physical remains of a non-existent thing. A linguistic fracture, a structural debt, the heaviest kind of a deep-sea regret. Yeah, the wound is all closed, but the memory is tied in the shivering shape of the scars on my heart. Ooh, the scars on my heart. I remember the moment the pressure was applied, before the forever withered and died. It's a tectonic shifting of the tissue and bone in a library of silence I've built on my own. They say that they fade, they say that they go, but the deeper you look, the more that they show. It's a wearable history, a tactile decree that you're still a part of the history of me. If I could erase them, if I could be clean, would I still remember the places we've been? Or is the damage the only thing real in the vacuum of space where I used to feel? And these are the scars of love tonight, jagged and silver in the flickering light. They don't feel the winter, they don't feel the sting, the physical remains of a non-existent thing. A linguistic fracture, a structural debt, the heaviest kind of a deep-sea regret. Yeah, the wound is all closed, but the memory is tied in the shivering shape of the scars on my heart. Oh, the scars on my heart. Ooh, on my thumb, across the line, the only part that's truly mine. Not the joy, not the glow, just the mark that won't let go. The scars. The scars. I'm opening the window just to let the dampness in, feeling the humidity settle on my skin. The pavement's turning charcoal as the clouds begin to break, mirroring the rhythm of a localized ache. It's that metallic heavy sweetness rising from the street, a sensory reminder of a quieted retreat. It smells like the Tuesday when you packed up the car, and the forever we were chasing felt suddenly too far. And it's the scent of rain and regret tonight, rising from the gardens in the fading purple light. A liquid kind of haunting, a breathable sting, the olfactory remains of a non-existent thing. I'm pulling in the oxygen, but the intake is tight. But the saltwater secrets from a broken down heart. Yeah, the storm is passing over, but the spirit is wet in the scent of rain and regret. I remember how we used to stand out on the porch before we turned the always into a localized torch. The air was full of maybe and the ozone was sweet before the structural erosion made the story complete. Now the petrichor is poisonous, the atmosphere is thin, letting the memory of the never moving. I'm a scholar of the weather, a priest of the gloom, tracing your reflection in the shadows of the room. Does the sky feel the weight of the water it holds before the great narrative finally unfolds? It's a tectonic pressure, a downpour of gone, stretching from the midnight to the pre-dawn. And it's the scent of rain and regret tonight, rising from the gardens in the fading purple light. A liquid kind of haunting, a breathable sting. The olfactory remains of a non-existent thing. I'm pulling in the oxygen, but the intake is tight. With the saltwater secrets from a broken down heart. Yeah, the storm is passing over, but the spirit is wet in the scent of rain and regret. Close the glass, lock the latch, look for the light, look for the match. Still damp, still cold, the only story that's being told. Rain and regret. I'm carrying a ledger that nobody can see, in the shivering center of the history of me. It's not written in lead, it's not written in ink, but it's pulling me down past the point I can think. I walk through the grocery, I walk through the park with a pocket full of maybes that glow in the dark. It's a structural burden, a localized debt of the things that I haven't quite told you yet. And it's the weight of secrets in the hallway tonight, trying to keep the always out of the light. It's a heavy set gravity, a physical sting, the internal pressure of a non-existent thing. My shoulders are round and my breathing is thin, letting the silence settle back in. Yeah, the bridge is all ashes and the spirit is torn from the weight of the secrets in a broken down heart. I remember the night that I locked them away in a cardboard sanctuary of a different day. I thought I was safe, I thought I was free from the tectonic shifting of you and of me. But they've grown in the dark, they've gathered the dust, feeding on the splinters of a long distance trust. I'm a library of hush, a catalog of shh, the only survivor of a localized wish. If I spoke them out loud, would the ceiling collapse, or would the whole universe finally relapse? It's a linguistic terror, a structural wall, the loudest don't tell in the history of all. And it's the weight of secrets in the hallway tonight, trying to keep the always out of the light. It's a heavy set gravity, a physical sting, the internal pressure of a non-existent thing. My shoulders around him, my breathing's thin, letting the silence settle back in. Yeah, the bridge is all ashes and the spirit is taut from the weight of the secrets in a broken down heart. Keep it inside, it's getting so heavy. Nowhere to hide, the dam is unsteady. Just one more love, just one more day, watching the forever wither away. The way, the way. I'm staring at the stamp with the frayed sticky edge, sitting on the precipice, sitting on the ledge. I've got your old address memorized like a prayer, but I know that the you I knew is no longer there. The envelope is heavy with the weight of the ink, saying all the things I was too scared to think. I've licked the seal shut, I've written your name, but the person who'd read it isn't the same. And they're just unsent letters in the bottom of the drawer, the final conversations that we'll never have anymore. They're paper white tombs for a heartbeat and a wire, underneath the ceiling of a charcoal-colored sky. I'm hoarding the closure, I'm hiding the truth in the jagged edge ruins of our wasted youth. Yeah, the mailbox is empty and the flag is staying down on the unsent letters in this hollowed out town. I told you I'm sorry for the war in the wall and the way that I stumbled when I started to fall. I told you the garden is starting to die, and I finally stopped asking the universe why. But if I actually drop them in the slot on the street, then the ending is real and the loss is complete. As long as they're here, as long as they're mine, I can still pretend that we're doing just fine. It's a localized haunting in a number 10 sleeve, a physical proof that I'm starting to leave. But the ink is a tether and the paper is a chain, a permanent mark of a localized pain. And they're just unsent letters in the bottom of the drawer, the final conversations that we'll never have anymore. The paper white tombs for a heartbeat and a wire, underneath the ceiling of a charcoal-colored sky. I'm holding